blue. It's all black love,
Okay.
love, and they're gonna ask you some questions. If you don't want to answer them, you don't gotta answer them. But they from all parts of the world. They're not from New York. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And they gonna ask you some questions and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna listen.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, we gonna let Ghost Man do this one.
Hey, Trey, you gotta kick it off, man. You got your pops on here, so you kick it off with and we're gonna follow, man.
All right. I'm gonna kick it off, right? I'm gonna kick it off. Hey, pops, what year you was born? What year you was born and where you was born at?
1955, Brooklyn, New York.
Okay, what part of Brooklyn you was born at?
East New York.
Where's your mother and your father from?
North Carolina. My pops is from Homer, Louisiana. My mom's is from Durham, North Carolina.
Is your mother a Cherokee Indian? Yes or no?
Yes. My mother's a Cherokee. My pops is a Creole.
Creole from Homer, Louisiana.
He kind of like me. I'm a Choctaw Creole from Shreveport, Louisiana, Cato Parish.
All right. Good
last name.
Thibodeau. Thibodeau. Thibodeaux. Thibodeau.
I come from the Smith and Fords.
Hey, Earl. So, can you give us some insight on the OG New York, back in the day? How was it until how it is now? Was it when you was a young cat moving around, whatever you was doing, and until now? How was it? I'm from LA, so I want to learn some history on New York, back in the day type of shit. Before the Crips and Bloods hit the New York scene, how was it?
Well, back in the day, we didn't have we had one gang in New York. It was called the Tomahawks. Okay. Tomahawks came out in, I want to say, 69, 70. We didn't have any Bloods and Crips in New York then. If they were, they were low key. If they were, they might have been in another part of New York. But where I was from, they had Tomahawks. They had the Chaplains. We had the Lords. We had the Vice Lords. And we had a gang from Detroit. I forget the name of those. But I grew up in Bed-Stuy before I moved to East New York. When I moved to East New York, I joined the Tomahawks. Me and another buddy of mine. It was.
Oh, that's big. I didn't know that. That's what's up.
Yeah, I joined the Tomahawks when I was late. I joined the Tomahawks late now. Now I didn't get into.
Because I heard about the Tomahawks. Now I get to really talk to one. So that's what's up. That's history right there.
Yeah. Tomahawks, they ruled East New York. They ruled. I mean, ruled. I mean, when the Tomahawks came through, they came through 100 deep. 150 to 100 deep. I would tell you what happened to me one time. I was telling my son about this earlier. Me and my homie was in a house with two females, and their brothers were gay. So we were all sitting. They had a bar in the house. Me and my homie was sitting there. The two girls were sitting across from us, and their two homo brothers were on the other side. So one of them said, we all lit. One of them said something to another, "Oh, you my bitch," or something like that. And I laughed at him, not knowing that the homo behind me had a bottle of Bacardi. He bust my head wide open with the bottle of Bacardi. He broke it down to the neck. So me and my homie ran out, called the Tomahawks. Tomahawks came through there. If they didn't have 150 cats, they didn't have none. They tore this house apart. They tore it up, dragged both of them out, damn near beat them to death. And I mean, back in the 70s, man.
So that was like a street gang, hustling, getting money.
Exactly. Street gang. We hustled. They got money. They was selling dope back then. Dope back then was like $6-7 a bag. Used to get the dope from up in Harlem, around Nicky Barnes and Frank Matthew and all them boys was running Harlem. They used to get the drugs from them and bring it back to Brooklyn and sell it. But back in the day, man, I mean, I could give you guys stories of shit that me and homies did that was fucking crazy. I had a reputation. Cats didn't shoot CeeLo or dice and let me see him doing it because I would stick them up. Sort of a shotgun and stick them up. They see me walking down the street. They see me.
So the CeeLo, that's the 3 dice, right? The 4-5 bigs, right?
Yeah, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 4. That's what we shot back in the day.
Right,
we shot 4, 5. You cats shot 2 dice up in Cali, right?
Yeah, we do craps. Yeah, 2 dice. Yep.
Yeah, it's only Bobby Crabs.
Yeah, we did 4, 5, 6 in New York.
Yeah.
We did 4, 5,
Some of the
6
homies
in
from
New York.
Jersey, they came to LA and we was in Airbnb. They was shooting that shit. They showed me how to play. I know how to play a little bit, but I didn't get so accustomed with the 2 dice, so the 3 dice was like throwing me off. I could never find a rhythm. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, it was easy. I mean, all you had to do was 2 pair and whatever the other dice was, that was your point.
Right. But it was just a rhythm part, and then y'all had the rule where y'all had to throw it to the wall. Like when we shoot craps, we don't gotta throw it to the wall. Like you know what I'm saying? So that was
exactly.
So that was throwing me off too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to throw it to the wall. You got to throw the dice to the wall. The dice don't hit the wall, they ain't no good.
Right, because these niggas in LA, they so slick. They had stacked them dice on you, throw some shit. You like, what the fuck this nigga? You know what I mean? These niggas crafty on them dice in LA, boy.
Exactly. But you had to be careful, man, because cats had dice with all 1s on them, all 6s on them, and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't play crap, because the cats were slick as shit. And I knew
we called them we called them hot dice.
Yeah, I know.
But I know how to check them to make sure they real. You know what I'm saying?
Trick dice.
I know a cat that used to hold 4 dice in his hand. He'll hold a set of dice with all 1s and one with all 6s in his hand. And if they're the same, you say for instance you had green dice,
right?
And after you roll them, he would have them that 6 and 1 dice in his hand and pick up some other ones and push the other to the front and parlay them like that every damn time.
Hey, so let me ask you a question, Earl. So like, of course, you ain't gonna name nobody or name no specific situation. You ever seen somebody get done dirty for like trying to work a nigga on the dice game? Like, nigga got his head busted.
I seen the cat get his head blowed off, man. I see the cat get his head blowed clean off with a sword or a shotgun. Cats didn't play that, man. If
you got cheat on the dice game, huh?
Yeah, if you got caught cheating, you got killed. It wasn't no shit about beating you up. Them cats, because it was a lot of money, man. Them cats shooting $3, $4, $5, $6, $7,000 in their pocket. Especially if a cat loses, you get caught cheating, he gonna kill you, man.
So they would shoot that much in the 70s? Because in the 70s, that was a lot of money.
Yeah. They were shooting and hustlers.
Right.
We didn't play in the street. We had clubs to shoot on top of the pool tables. We put a board on the back of the pool table and throw the dice up against the board. And these cats was hustlers out there pimping hoes and selling heroin. And they had money, $2,000, $3,000 to $4,000. Them cats coming in, they losing a lot of money. And you get caught cheating, they wouldn't beat you. They kill you, man. I see motherfuckers get their fingers cut off and shit. Motherfuckers get their head blown up with a sword or shotgun, and they pull you out back and just drop you. The motherfuckers ain't played back in them days, man. Back in the 70s and the 80s, man, motherfuckers would rough. It was rough. I had a partner named Frankie. I never forget this motherfucker. He was the boldest motherfucker I ever seen in my life. These cats would be shooting dice in the club, maybe 15, 20 of them. Frankie would pull up in the car. He said, you sit in the car. He'd go in there with a sword or a shotgun and rob the whole motherfucking place and make everybody strip. Make everybody strip. And rob the whole motherfucking joint by his goddamn self. He was a bold motherfucker. He doing life now. He doing life now. He got caught up in some shit and doing life. He killed the dude in a...
Hey, so Earl, so fast forward to like the 90s, because correct me if I'm wrong, I know like Crip and Blood hit New York scene somewhere in the early 90s, correct?
Yeah, correct. In the early 90s, 80.
Can you kind of speak on that a little bit? Or
how
did it come and why did it come and how did it convert from the Tomahawks to Bloods and Crips?
You know how they came? I think a few guys from that lived in L.A. came up to New York and started their own sets. They started out in the Bronx. They had sets in the Bronx, and then from the Bronx they moved over to Brooklyn, Queens. I mean, they're all over now. I mean, I'm quite sure. I had a partner. Well, my son, Earl, what year did you go to Cali?
2010, 2009.
Okay. So this was before you. This was like maybe 89, 90, 91. The first set I seen was in the Bronx. And then what they did was they moved to Rikers Island. Rikers Island right now is full of well, I think mostly Bloods is in Rikers Island now, right, Earl?
Yeah, it's all Bloods.
Bloods in Rikers Island now. I mean, it's a few Crips, but not too many. But they originated in the Bronx, came down to Queens, to Rikers Island, and now they're all over there in Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan.
Hey, so Earl, so far as like when the banging came to New York, as far as being a Tomahawk, did the Tomahawks ever try to like keep it like that, or are they kind of like?
You know what? Tomahawks faded out. Tomahawks faded out in the 70s. Tomahawks around, I want to say 85, 86. Tomahawks faded out. I don't know why.
So what do you think was the cause of the wipeout of the original
I don't know.
New York gang?
I really don't know. I think other gangs. I think maybe the other gangs came in and wiped them out. Maybe the Crips came and wiped them out. I'm not quite sure, because after I got locked up in 85. When I came home in 89, it was no more Tomahawks. It was Crips. It was Bloods then. When I was getting out of jail, the Bloods was coming in. That was in 89. So I don't know what happened to the Tomahawks. All of the cats that I was associated with the Tomahawks either got locked up.
And was there a power struggle? When I mean power struggle, I mean by like the LA gangs coming in, and y'all already got your originally New York gangs. Was there a rift like nigga? Because I asked that because I remember a time when New York niggas used to shit on LA niggas like that gang banging shit is lame.
Exactly.
Fighting over color.
Hey, that's a fucking fact, and I'm glad you said that.
That's the reason why I asked that.
Hey, look, that's a fact, Errol, and I'm glad he said that. Because I remember that era when I was a kid. They was like, all you niggas want to do is Jerry Curl and Low Ride. You niggas dumb.
So that's why
and now
I
the
asked
whole
that
world
question,
doing
was there a power rift between the LA gangs and the original New York
you know
gangs?
why? Because the LA gangs came in New York and took over. They came to New York and took over. If there were any gangs there, they took over. You know what? It was one gang, the Latin Kings. I don't know if you guys heard about the Latin King. The Latin Kings. Right. The Latin Kings was the biggest gang in New York back in that day. The Tomahawks were gone. The Latin Kings took over, and they were huge. And the Bloods came, and I think the majority of the cats that were Latin Kings went over to the Bloods. It wasn't no struggle at all. It was one cat running the Latin Kings. I forget his name, and he
King Blood.
Huh? I don't know if he came Blood, but something happened.
No, that was his name though. The Latin King dude, King Blood.
Yes, exactly. That was his name.
Okay.
And I don't know what happened to him, but I knew the majority of the Latin Kings that were uptown became Bloods. Because I think the Latin Kings started fading out because King Blood did something. He did something.
Don't quote me on this, but I think, don't quote me on this. I think he may have said some, told. I think he may have told.
Hey, so was his name King Blood before he turned Blood, or how's he Latin King?
No, he was Blood. That was just his name, King Blood. That was just his name. He was Blood. He was the leader of the Latin King.
He wasn't even Blood. His name was just Blood. His name was King Blood. I think he snitched. He snitched on something.
I think so. Don't quote me on that though. I think that's why.
Like that.
I think it was something like that.
It was something like that. He snitched or he did something, and they turned his back. He did
some yeenness.
Exactly. They turned his back on him, and by that time, the Bloods was moving in New York. A few cats here are making their own sets here and there and there, and I think the majority of them Latin Kings went to the Bloods because the majority of them in the prisons now are mostly black bloods, but you got a lot of Spanish ones too.
I was about to say that, so now that makes sense because I be seeing a lot of like
Exactly.
5'9" brims, a lot of different gorilla stones, a lot of shit they got going on in New York. A lot of them be Spanish, so that makes sense.
Exactly. Because the Latin Kings came out of the Bronx. They came out of the Bronx in the early '80s, around the '80s, somewhere around it, when the Tomahawk started fading out. I think some of the Tomahawks went to the Latin Kings because they were huge, man. They were the biggest gang in New York. I mean, they were like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 deep back then.
Hey, Pops.
Yeah.
Hey, Pops. Hey, I want you to go a little bit back, right? We gonna get on this note too. I want you to go to back with Moms. Rest in peace to Moms, right? Mm-hmm. How you and Moms, how y'all was pushing numbers and shit back in the '70s, and the Italian crew used to run with the Italian crew.
Yeah, I ran with the Gambinos. The Gambinos back in that time did a lot of prostitution. They did a lot of numbers.
That was the powerhouse, one day. Five families, one day.
Oh yeah, there was what's his name? Who died?
Carlos
Gambino. Carlos Gambino. Yeah,
he was the head, and then killed him off, and he became the head.
No, he died off. He died natural causes. He ain't nothing.
No, you talking about, hey Pop, you talking about Castellano. You talking about Big Paulie. You talking about Big Paulie.
Big Paulie.
Yeah, that's what he talking.
Yeah, I'm talking about Big Paulie. I ran numbers for. They're based out in the Bronx. Me and his mother had a number hole in the front. We ran legal numbers in the front, and at nighttime we ran poker games in the back. We did that for 7, 8, 9 years with the Gambinos, with the Gambinos, and what's this other guy's fucking name? I'm trying to think of his fucking name.
You're not talking about Big Paulie? Big Paulie?
Yeah, but no, not Big Paulie. It's this other crew.
You talk about Vincent Chin the Gigante. That's what you talk about, the Chin.
No, not the
Genovese family. Genovese.
What's the fucking guy who died in jail?
That's fucking John Gotti. Gotti crew.
Gotti crew. I worked with Gotti's brother. He's Paulie. I used to work with Paulie. Paulie used to come and pick up the money. Okay. They had about in our neighborhood. They had like 6 number holes. And he used to come every day and pick up the money. He used to come at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and then come back again at 11 o'clock for the night tracks. The Gambino crew, I'm going to tell you one thing about Italians, man. Italians will give you any fucking thing you want. But if you steal from them, they'll fucking kill you. They fucking kill you. That's one thing they don't fuck around is with their fucking money. I know cats that I work with that stole from them, and I ain't seen them no fucking more. You know, you motherfucker. Where we lived at, Earl, at that time, on Jerome Street, you know where Starrett City is? That shit wasn't built yet. Starrett City wasn't built.
It was a dumping ground for bodies. That was the Gambinos to put people there. That was a garbage dump.
Yeah, it was a dumping ground for bodies, man. Under them buildings now, it's probably 300-400 motherfuckers bones. I mean, it was a dumping ground. They used to dump bodies out there. They used to dump bodies out where it was another place. You know where TSS used to be?
Yep. What about Howard Beach? What about Howard Beach with all the Italians?
Exactly. That's where they used to dump bodies way back up there. All that shit was marshland back up in there. It was all marshland. They dumped bodies back up in there. That's where they dumped this union guy. He used to be the president of one of these unions.
Jimmy Hoffa.
Hoffa's ass is back up in marshland. Yeah, and buildings is on top of them. Yeah. That was the fucking days, man. Fucking guineas.
Is it the same like New York today? as it was back then? What's the difference?
Oh no, it's different now, man. It's different. It's a hell of a lot different now. Back then you can make money. You can make money now, man. But back then you made money easily, man. You had no problem. Now the fucking police is all on you. I mean, niggas are snitching. I mean, that's the main thing. I mean, niggas are snitching now, man. You can't trust no motherfucking body, man. Everybody snitching. All you gotta do is grab somebody's ass up and they gonna tell on you. I mean, fucking snitch time.
Right,
You can see that. You can see that shit on television. Everybody fucking telling on that body.
I always like to ask all the OGs this question, right?
Nah.
Why do you think the snitching is like at an all-time high? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Now?
Now, yeah.
Because
nowadays.
you know why? Because motherfuckers, if you snitch, they drop your fucking time. Niggas can't do time no more.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you, man. Back in the day, you didn't do that. I'm gonna tell you what a buddy of mine did. Man, it was a buddy of mine. We used to rob Popeyes, McDonald's, fast food joints. 2-3 times a motherfucking week. We used to rob them easily. He'd go on one time, I go on the next time. Any motherfucking Popeye, Burger King that was in our area, we robbed them. We went into a fucking Popeyes one time. My partner robbed him, came out, and his girl was a getaway driver. She used to drive her ass off. She's the best driver I ever seen.